We're going up to see Jenny and surprise her with her $5,000 prize. Jenny, congratulations. You're a Bunnings home ground hero.
Pretty honoured and humbled to be a Bunnings home ground hero.
It's overwhelming actually, it's humbling. It's a nice reminder about why I do this.
But yeah, just the whole sense of gratitude, man, and thankful to Bunnings and TNZ.
Sport. What does it mean to us? For some, it's potential, a promise that we could be better, that the early mornings will be worth it, that we could be champions.
It starts with touch.
This Touch New Zealand event is proudly supported by Bunnings Warehouse.
E te iwi nau mai hoki mai, ki tēnei o nā kēmu tuarua o te rā nei. Welcome back to the Bunnings Youth Nationals for day 2 down here in Christchurch, the second live stream game, joined by world famous Maya Williams and Michael Kavanagh. Maya, one of the predominant top end referees over the last couple of decades, and Michael Kavanagh, who's looking to push back into the Touch Blacks after a little bit of a hiatus. It's great to join the men in the commentary team, and this is going to be one ding-dong battle. Michael?
Yeah, it's the battle of the bridge here, Auckland versus Harbour, and it's great to be sitting next to the both of yous. And we could just hear from outside the tent a little bit of a doof beat. It had Maya Williams kind of going like he was back in the clubs in his young days. So look for an exciting battle out here, folks. Looks like the kids the youth boys here in the 18s grade are excited, and they're ready to get things going.
There's no Gangnam styles happening over on this chair there, Kev. It's all head movement these days, and the YYs are set in place. Yeah, this is going to be a stunner. I went purposely to go watch these two teams yesterday, and well, under 18, jeepers, if they're only that age, then they're going to be superstars in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, no, just looking at the team list that are in front of you there, being able to play a little bit with Adam Morrison, so that's definitely someone to look out in the Auckland team. And then I bumped into old Georgie here for the North Harbour 18 Boys. He's coaching this with his younger brother Dan, and they've got some great IQ, and I think we'll see a terrific team game from this Harbour group, as we see a nice little passive play out at the link there. Great defensive effort there from Terry Crummer at link for Auckland, being able to stretch out and stop the Harbour link from getting on the outside there as they go back to a middle play, looking to isolate on a follow short side, coming back to the wing, and terrific finish there. I think that was from number 3 in the corner, Sam Howarth, and the referee agrees, and there's Harbour's first of the day.
You just see how much quicker this is in terms of the lateral movement. 1 minute they're going right, boom, off his right foot, throw short left, short to short, and then again probably held onto that a little bit long, but it was perfect by the winger who got that ball down quick, smart.
Yeah, we see a couple of familiar faces in the background there. Peter McIntyre and Rahul Das, they'll have all eyes on this, looking for the future of our game, and I think it's great to see the youth on show in front of our premier coaches and giving themselves every opportunity for whatever may lie next in their journeys in the touch football arena. And we see there from the Auckland winger, he comes in to collect a right to left pass, and he identified there McConnon that it was going to fall short, and try to give himself every opportunity to execute one for Auckland.
Yeah, North Harbour have really started this game strong on defence. They look like they've got the energy rate up. It must have been a great warm-up, but just on that far side, I tell you what, the link will be owing a raspberry and coke to the winger, because on that step back, he had to make the touch. The saver should have been there, but a sign of a good teammate is is able to help each other out. And North Harbour look like they've got an energy. They started the game with an actual planned starter. Sign of good coaching as well.
I think he owes the on-field ref a coke too, because the sideline referee was ready to give the all clear until he seen that he was going for the touch. Another solid set, didn't finish with a try, but that's exactly the second best option to get down here with a clean transition and lead the ball on the 7 metre line.
I'm sure Chauncey Edwardson would be happy to hear about the raspberry and coke tabs. I wasn't quite privy enough to run up a tab in my younger days. It was kind of just expected, but I definitely would have appreciated a few raspberry and cokes myself.
You'll probably be looking for one at the Lizard, but as you can see, a little bit of a mistake there or change. It looks like a penalty actually. So North Harbour could really look to put the acid on Auckland here with some sort of play. I know that they'll like to run. They run the 32 long quite a bit. Here they come now, fresh summers on. Feeds the splitter, looks for the dive. Yes, and referee agrees that it was ball down first. The defenders were there, but referee in beautiful position there.
Yeah, I think that was Cameron Wotton, has some high-level experience in the referee sector, and he was in terrific position there to be able to see that the quickie dive to the outside, stepped inside, and then able to get between both defenders, and he was able to get the ball down to the ground first.
Yeah, I think the right-hand middle there for Auckland just probably was trying to do two jobs rather than just stick to the priority one, which was shut. Get inside that toucher and make sure he shut that first option down.
And it's definitely somewhere that the game's going, those roles and responsibilities. We see a little bit of a trick play there from Auckland. They were looking to throw a 33 peel down the lane, but instead ran the plus play, and they do it again, this time coming back with a little bit of a right foot, right foot, and I think he might have just thrown one too many steps in there. It looked like he'd beat the defender off the first foot, but he went for the double one, and it actually paid dividends for the Harbour defence and was able to go back into his shoulders.
If you didn't know the score, you'd think this game would probably be a draw because both teams pretty even on the transition. Their attack looks as dangerous, but North Harbour just that little bit more clinical in what they're doing on the line, and that's why it's got them 2-0 up.
Yeah, we can see it through the physicality, and this is something that I love when it comes to the 18 boys grade, is that no one's shy to give a little bit of a push and shove, and it's up to them as an offensive player to try and get to the side of the ruck or keep that control, and it's pleasing to see that the boys here, they want to play and that they're using some physicality with it at the same time.
Yeah, this is exciting, Cav. The pace of this game's cool. You hardly get a time to comment on one action because they're 2 touches ahead of where you were. So this is a really exciting game. I really hope Auckland can score soon to make sure they keep them in it mentally. Let's see what they finish with here at the end.
Yeah, down for a 32 platform, scooping short side, looking for the open player.
Gas.
Yeah, and just the physicality and the ability to be able to shake from your defender. The 32 platform looked open, went back short side, as you can see here. Takes the corner, a little bit of profiling, needs a bit of work there from the North Harbour defence, and there it is. She's a walk-in try.
As a ref, I love these types of games. We used to say to each other, the best games are the fastest games. They're so fast you don't have time to realise you're tired, and this sort of looks like one of those games.
Yeah, they're almost good to play in as well. Like when you're going end to end, there's no real time to switch off. You've got to be thinking at 100 miles an hour about what's going to be happening next, being nice and proactive as we see a sweep come around with a little bit of a passive play. That was a nice move there from Harbour, something that we haven't seen on the stream over the last couple of days, but I think that goes down to show some IQ there from the Harbour coaches, that they've got a little bit of a trick bag up their sleeve, and they were able to throw that out there with a sweep coming back door, able to come back to the open side with a bit of a passive play out the back.
Yeah, Kev, they sweep with their box side link, and then they come back door passive with the far side link. It's a very, very nice play.
As we see Harbour looking to throw a right to left long over the top. Great link defence there. He was able to shut that down in the channel, and rather than being able to throw a nice flat pass, he had to try and egg bomb it over the top, and it just gave the Auckland defence enough time to shut down the pass, and they weren't able to hit their targets. As we see a nice little extra play there to the middle, helping Auckland get their transitional group on, slowing down a little bit. It'd be good to see a little bit more through the legs as we see Morrison. Great strike dump there, giving every opportunity there for number 5, that is Jamie Tifata, and he's able to get into the end goal and able to get it out there to the winger, number 9, Eli McConnon, and that's Auckland's second.
All started back from the goal line. They were in great shape, and then they went to the plus play off the yardage, and then they were able to sweep in. And what a great weaving plant that was to be able to get into the in goal. Just a great referee call as well to let that play through into the in goal and see what unfolded instead of giving away a penalty, and just an awesome finish by the winger.
Yeah, and we can see some of the support group here, and we talked about it earlier, just the atmosphere that's around the ground at the moment. Like, it's got a real buzz to it, and everyone's supporting their province and their family and friends that are actively playing, as we see number 4 here from Harden, Boston Crone, and he's really putting an impact on the offensive line here for Harbour. He's looking to get involved. He's got some good speed, obviously some footwork, so maybe a player that we should look out for as this game continues.
What a game, like in the blink of an eye, from 2-0 to 2-2, and 2 really, really good tries from Auckland. This is hot. Oh, they'll be gutted about that. Just a bit of inaccuracy with a forward pass off the ruck. This gives North Harbour a really, really good chance on the line, with just off the line with a fresh set. So great fight back from Auckland. They really need to D this set out, and if they do, we've got a cracker.
North Harbour might have identified here. Auckland are very, very square on the touch, and they've been getting ripped short side, giving up their corner. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go out about half a lot more. North Harbour and look to manipulate that short side here.
As we see Harbour looking to play on a sweep, coming back on a bit of a crush, throws it over the top. Winger tries to chase out, but I think that's a good finish from the Harbour winger, being able to dive over the defender here. As we see, he looks, gets to the air early, and what a try. Number 11 there for North Harbour, Liam Carter.
Great name.
He's able to identify that the defender was going to dive low, and he gets aerial. Maybe watched a few pre-season games of the NRL over the weekend and able to show some of his highlight reel himself.
I think the NRL must watch touch, I think, Kev, because what these kids do, mate, what happens in the NRL looks like child's play.
Yeah, just defensively down their other end. It was actually a good profile by the touching middle. Unfortunately, the shutters were just a wee bit too late, which when they did collapse, the long ball was the option.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little bit harder for our outside units now with that 7 metre line, and if you get that dump on the 7, it's very tough to be able to read and react. As we see here, a very similar outcome for Auckland. They get close to that 7 metre line, and then a bit of a nail play here where we can see the number 12 coming down the line. I think that's Milan, and he's able to throw a nice right to left hold chopper, and Auckland able to do some great work off the ball and be able to level this game up at 3 apiece.
Reece, we're sort of getting into that tit-for-tat type part of the game as we see North Harbour come down here, probably get a fresh 6. As it with your coaching head on, what is the key part that the team needs to take care of to get themselves out of that tit-for-tat?
You've got to get a defensive stop. A lot of teams now, especially even in the under-18s grade, I can see they actually have defensive units that go out. Once you get in the grind, and I think North Harbour will want to do that.
Yep.
If they can get a defensive stop, if they allow Auckland to be able to run that dingo play, they look like they've got some divers. A defensive set is critical, I think. Like in the previous game, the Nelson team, they were able to stop plays, stop sets of 6. Here comes a sweep now, sweeping to the outside. Great to see teams running the outside, and that's all it takes. Get the defensive stop, ruck the ball down the other end, and just tire teams out like that, and hopefully pin a couple of middles, especially their ball players on the field, and fatigue them.
Kev, you must have been in this situation a million times where you're the winger and you're trying to hold as long as you can, but unfortunately you know that your link defender is beaten, isn't going to get there, so you have to dive in. It must be a bit of a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah, it definitely was in my earlier years, Maya, but when you come through the ranks of the Canterbury Open Men's and you have some real stalwarts of the game, you were taught never to get beaten short side, so that was definitely one that I used to kind of allow happen for our link to get in trouble rather than me, because sometimes the voices that were thrown at me weren't the most pleasant of voices to hear, so I kind of acknowledged that after a wee while that, okay, I'm just going to protect my short side, and you can deal with the raff that comes after that to whoever my link was at the time.
I'm really loving the style of play that these two teams are playing. You know, they're mixing up their attack, but they're also wanting to run the ball as well. Just the 32 long there actually put a bit of confusion in the Harbour defence, and sometimes it's not a catchphrase anymore. It's don't do the basics right and run with the ball, and you're going to do well.
Probably trying to get him a penalty there.
Yeah, just looking to see what the referee had to say, and unfortunately through the slowing down there, they were able to kind of get a little bit of momentum, Auckland, but we see that they just got caught up in the ruck there on the referee's viewpoint, which means that they've disrupted the opportunity for the dummy half to have any opportunity to pick up the ball, and penalty to Harbour. And as we're closing in to the end of the first half, it's probably something that Auckland want to look at, is just making sure they stay disciplined, because it's really been a kind of game of two halves when it's come to the momentum, and when Harbour have it, they really want to put it on, and those sweep plays have definitely been working for them, as we see there. Number 9 for North Harbour, Isaac Murray McGregor, tried to get on the outside of the middle defender, but tailing into the line was a good recovery line for Auckland, and was able to make the touch at the line.
Yeah, it was my pet hate there, the old slam dunk. I think I only seen 2 of those yesterday, and that's the first one for the day. I think if number 9 just watched a couple of the games we've seen yesterday, and we're talking like fractions of a second, but that difference is the difference between a slam dunk that ends up being a touch, or a beautiful slide dive that ends up being a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, Maya, a lot of these boys would probably want to be in the boots of someone like an Avian Jones at the moment, who's playing for the Mauri side coming up, but he gets low. He's one step off the 7 and he's diving low. He's not worried about a slam dunk and what it looks like. He's just wanting to get the point for his team. So I'm definitely a supporter of the get rid of the slam dunk committee, my mate. It can cost you, and I've got no doubt in the pointy end of this tournament, it's going to cost the team.
Yep.
North Harbour in this grind. Maya, going back to your question about how do you get out of the tit for tat? Well, this has been going on without a try for a couple of minutes now, so I got a funny feeling Harbour might, and there you go, just a little Deutsch play, as they call it, a little pop out. Look like you're coming down to get into half for a 32 platform. You pop the link out and you walk in. Good show. Once again, another fundamental of the game. Show that you're going to cut. They collapse the defence, and then you get a pop out walk in. And here you'll see it on the replay.
Yeah, we were able to see it just at the very start of that replay too, the transitional group that were coming on. They came on as a unit, and we're able to see that the little slider play was going to be able to be achieved with that middle coming forward, and we just saw them get on the outside, and they were able to do a nice little Deutsch play there, and just too fast for the recovering defensive line there of Auckland, and Harbour take this scoreline out to 5-3 as we draw close to the final minute of this first half.
Yeah, the Dingo Plus play where they defeated the splitter. Harbour have caught on to that. Their defence looks like it's on lockdown now after the first couple of minutes with a 5-3 lead going into half. And there's another defensive stop. It wouldn't surprise me if Harbour get the ball down the other end of the field, and with the fresh subs on, they may go to 6-3 pretty quickly here before the half.
Yeah, I think something that we can be really pleased about with both teams is they've both run a really team-based scenario kind of game where they're involving everyone, they're trying to get to their transitional ruck patterns, and also when it comes to the goal line, rather than just a two-man kind of scenario type play, they're using a lot of sweeps or two-step pass plays where everyone's having to do their job off the ball, and it's not just reliant on that one player to try and do everything for both teams. Auckland here just kind of getting a little bit disjointed. They won't want to fall away just before the half as we draw into the last 15 seconds. They'll want to try and get one back here. Isaac will be rallying his troops, trying to get them across the half, getting to one more strike. Here we see Morrison, one of their key players, looking to try and get on the outside. Bit of a flick pass, coming off the chest there of Auckland, and not the way they would have wanted to finish the half, but as we see on our screens, North Harbour, they're leading at this fixture, 5 touchdowns to 3 in the 18 boys grade.
Well done, team. Keep it going. Keep it going. Good work. Yes, good side step. Excellent. Working forward. Well done. Well done, team. Good. For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, but mahi never stops. Thanks, mate. Okay, team, come on in. Let's go. Let's huddle up. Bring it in, guys. Nominate your homegrown hero today. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Sport. What does it mean to us? For some, it's potential, a promise that we could be better, that the early mornings will be worth it, that we could be champions.
starts with touch.
Here we are back, Reese, with this stunner of a game. That game flew by. I love those types of games, and they're really, really exciting. North Harbour up by 2, Auckland definitely in it. North Harbour got out to an early 2-point lead, and then Auckland in the blink of an eye got back to 2-2. We then had a bit of tit-for-tat with a couple of tries, a grinding period, and then North Harbour just got one in the later minutes of that first half. If you're in the Auckland box, Reese, what are you saying to the boys?
Tighten up our defence, get our profile and get our fundamentals of defending. Move on from the two-handed positive touches and just get yourself in a nice profile touch. First 2 steps, make them nice and powerful. Read the defence, don't give up your short side, and allow everybody else to help you out. That would be my number one, and then work really, really hard in transition and try to get the ball down the other end of the field, because no matter what the code, it's all about field position and possession. And at the moment, North Harbour deserve their lead through their fundamentals and what they're doing. But Auckland first to score here. They've got to be. And if they get into the grind, dig deep. The management are really going to have to be on their ball here and make sure that they're keeping the boys up to get back in this game.
Yeah, you've seen quite a contrast in those try lights here with North Harbour, more static plays down on the line, whereas Auckland's first 2 touchdowns come off the back of their transition yards. And then we see these last 3 tries that North Harbour got at the end of that second half. And we just started off with Cameron Wooten blowing time on for the second half as Auckland tap off.
They're looking to get into their work early, and Reece said it, Auckland wanted to be first to score coming out of half, and they've almost pulled something out of the hat there.
Yeah, we had that starter. We used to call it the quarter pounder with extra cheese, that starter. That was the sneaky second half, hoping the other team were, a little bit complacent, would just catch them on that play.
Oh, a few extra toppings there, I'm sure, Mauri, in your burger, though. As we see...
You don't need extra toppings, you just need extra burgers.
As we see Auckland here looking to get a 2-man play at the link.
Speaking about burgers, it'd be quite good to get a little bit of nutrition here in the commentary box, lads. Fading away a wee bit. But, Auckland, I hope they can score here, because I really want this game to... I think it'll be really, really tight if they can keep within it. There's the thing. There's the wrap with the feed the splitter.
Boom.
Yes. One thing I did want to acknowledge is that first half was the lack of commentary we had around the referees and what's happened. They're reffing a beautiful game here, but what have we got here, Mike?
We're going to have a bit of commentary by the looks. Looks like someone's getting sin bin. I'm just not sure which team it was from and what it was for. We'll check here.
Yeah, sweeper goes, scoops short side, feeds the splitter, gets it down. I think referee Ken Wood might be saying that, you didn't even make a touch, but you're calling it, so he's put him in the bin. Would that be correct, Maya?
Yeah, it could have been the call. I really hope it's not. It's one thing I'm so proud of the game of touch, is that we really don't have that. And it's policed by the players generally, where they don't want to have cheating in the game. I mean, if you're that person who gets caught making phantoms, I think that hangs around with you almost for your entire career in this sport. So really proud that we are an honest sport, and probably one of the most honest. The amount of times that you could call a touch and the referee wouldn't know, but players don't, and that happens 20, 30 times a game. So really hope that wasn't the case, and there might have just been something else that he said that he probably shouldn't have. But if it was, that's what does happen, is you get sin bin for cheating, because we don't want it in the game.
Maya, how long is the sin bin in these games now?
So different lengths of times for different things.
Okay.
I think the boys are using 2 sets each.
Yeah, and we'll see with that sin bin there that it's in the history books regardless of what it's for, and this is where Auckland will have that opportunity to be able to kind of come back into it, as we see the emotion there of the Auckland try scorer getting up to really show that, nope, the ball was down, and I guess they've come out of the half like Reece was talking to us about, and he really wanted to... He really needed them to be able to score first to assert some dominance to get back into this game, as we see Harbour looking to get into the end goal. And that's a great read there from the link at Auckland. I potentially think that was number 2, Selwyn Cecil. he's played really well at the link defensively. Like, his body presence has been amazing to be able to kind of disrupt the Harbour attack, and once again he shows his worth there.
He's been saving his middles, to be honest. Once again, the double-handed touch and then the splitting infield away from his corner. The link had to do the job of 3 different defenders there, so very, very well saved, but they could save themselves a little bit of trouble. And here's Auckland again, going down onto the try line. Ooh, good touch there by the number 1 at link there.
Auckland have really come out hot. This is game on. 3.5 minutes in, I thought that was going to be tied up 5-5. Again, I wish every day was drop-off day, but it only happens on the last day. And here we have North Harbour. They want to hit back. They want to get back into that mode that they had going in the first half. 33 pick. Late cut. Just unfortunately, Borden go to hand. Otherwise, I thought he would have been in. Number 7 there from North Harbour, Ezra Morgan Tafia.
Yeah, that's right. Once again, fundamentals of the game, coming off a good set of yards. 3-3 split. Gas, run late.
Sorry, Reese, there you see number 12 from North Harbour coming back on. So 4 sets, basically, 2 sets of each team, and then that player can return.
Yeah, I used to remember having to get the old stopwatch out when Kane Rangi in particular was never short of a word towards you officials, and I'd make sure that it was only 5 minutes, but 5 minutes in a 40-minute game is rough for a team to get in the grind. I think that's why Canterbury became so fit.
With some of your teams, I imagine you went through a few stopwatches in the course of a 3-day nationals.
Yes, and most of them are coaching here at these youth nationals too.
Beautiful try there from Auckland. 5-4, game on. Cav, this is exciting.
Yeah, we see here the momentum shift coming out of half, and I don't think the Simbin would have helped Harbour in terms of the start of this second half. And we just see there Adam Morrison, lovely right foot step with a left to right over the top, and we were talking about that kind of short side security. And unfortunately there, just the body shape of Harbour, they weren't kind of in those profiles that allowed them to secure that short side, and they got caught turned in. And just a lovely pass over the top to the Auckland winger to level this game up at 5 touchdowns each. And we've seen a few more penalties in the scoreline in this game. Is that just reflective of how fast you think the game's going?
Yeah, absolutely it is. It's just the players are just missing that 7-metre line just slightly, and they've got the attack on right up in them straight away. So that's what just happens in these fast games.
Oh, nice bit of footwork there.
Slam dunk. I tell you, one of the biggest changes that I've seen is back when I was doing the majority of my refereeing, you could anticipate which way the ball was going by where the ball player's shoulders were facing, whereas kids these days, their shoulders are square, parallel to the scoreline, as we see North Harbour going again. Parallel to the scoreline, then suddenly a bullet goes left or a bullet goes right. So I feel sorry for the refs now. I don't know how you're supposed to anticipate which way it's going.
I don't know if you saw that on your screen there, but it looked like there was a few words exchanged, a bit of competitive banter. It's never short of being recognised in our game of touch footy, and it definitely lives up to the hype, especially when games are close like this. So with 8 minutes 20 left on your screen in this 18 boys fixture, I think we're in for one hell of a second half.
Yeah, I'd really like to see North Harbour go back to their sweeping plays and looking to construct their tries a little bit more. At the moment, they're just probably looking to get to the last touch and go for that one-hit wonder type try. Their success was through constructing tries, so hopefully they can get a defensive stop here. Conversely, Auckland look to run. Auckland have definitely come out of the half with the momentum at this stage.
And this could be where you said in that game earlier on, Reece, in terms of the battle of the legs and when the fatigue of the mind sets in, and I really hope that both of these teams have that nutrition in their bodies to be able to get through this first 30 of the 18 boys fixture of the day, and I guess it'll be telling as we move into the final 5 minutes of this game.
Yep, 100%. Harbour will really look to control this ball and maximise the whole set. You can see the sweepers starting to set up now. No, goes to the 32 platform with the 32 long stormer. The step back, good refereeing there. The link on the near side here lifted quite well off the line, and I think referees do like that positive lift off the line too, and any 50-50 call may go your way. Here comes the sweeper now. Step back to the short side, goes back to the sweep, and nothing there. The defence is a lot tighter. It's considerably a lot tighter from Auckland, and full credit to the coaching staff at halftime utilising that small time they have to talk about it.
North Harbour seem to be still going at the same pace, but they don't quite seem to be like on the same page as they were in the first half. Everyone sort of knew what was happening, whereas now it seems to be a little bit more ad-lib, and hopefully they can get back into that structure for their sake and get a first touchdown for this half.
When you have a youth mind as well in terms of the cognitive development of these players, that being under pressure can at times be unfamiliar, and having a 5-3 lead and to see that come back to a 5-all scenario, that sometimes the confidence that's being played with can be a real almost like an extra player on the field, and we can kind of see that extra bit of pizzazz in the Auckland team as they're kind of coming out with a little bit more flair. But what I'd like to see from Harbour is how they started the game. They played with a lot of patience when they got down to the scoreline, and they ran with some real purpose, but at the moment they just look a little bit disjointed when they're getting down to their attacking end, whereas as Auckland they're looking a little bit more controlled, and they're kind of taking hold of this game a little bit.
Yeah, nice little burner there, quick on the link try here. They look like they're going to go back to a 3-2 platform. They chuck the long. Oh, good defensive read by the link there, stepping up. They're kind of safe there, Kev, with the stepping up as a link when they throw that long one, that there's not going to be a dummy half there.
Yeah, it's a different meterage now with the 7, and as I've talked to some of our striking links and wingers, that I guess it's now a point of time where if you're making that decision, you just have to own it. There's no real time to hesitate or be reactive to what's happening. It's either you're going to hit it, or you've got to put yourself in a position that you're there to help whoever that recovering defender is there. But we saw the Harbour defensive player there. He made his decision and he owned it, and it shut down Auckland's attack. So full credit to the boy there from Harbour making that choice.
Yeah, here come North Harbour now, coming down the field, looking for a 32 platform. Nice weaving drive there. Probably should have just drove straight in there. He was the better man in the better position. But looked to check off. Maybe he wanted to get on the ball, and unfortunately it's broken down for North Harbour. They were looking good there.
Yeah, they had some great control of the middle of the field there. They really had Auckland on the back foot, and the ball just unfortunately didn't go to hand as they were looking for that kind of extra pass, and it was maybe one too many, but gives Auckland an opportunity here as they cross the half, coming into, I think that potentially is touch 4. They'll be looking to get Morrison on the back end of this play. He's looking for a short side pick, comes back open, a bit of a 2-step off the ground with a right to left over the top, and that's great defensive read there from the number 3, Sam Howarth, for Harbour. He scored one in the first half, and he's been able to stop a couple here in the second half here for Harbour.
I think Auckland just, particularly the picker at the end there, they just seem to be passing too early. They're not quite capturing that defender. They're passing too early, which means the defender can then drift out, which means the defender out, that person can drift out. And so I think if they engage that defender a little bit more so that there's no chance they can get out and then pass the ball, they'll probably find that they'll get across the line.
First time we've seen this in the second half. And that's some great work there from the number 15 from Harbour, who lost all of his foot speed by falling over Tyler Pulini, and unfortunately he just wasn't able to hold it as he was going into the line, and that's a let off there for Auckland. It was looking like Harbour was going to take the lead 6-5.
It's one of those ones you're so keen to get it to the scoreline. You know there's a defender there that you don't quite get control and fumble.
Yeah, a little bit of an error coming off their own line there for stepping, so they stepped off the mark, and Harbour go in, and yes, once again, benefit of the doubt going to the attacker there on a close touch, and referees deem ball first. We'll get a good look at this one coming in. It's just a standard quickie play, feeds back on the step back. Yeah, that defender didn't make the line either. And, I'm going to have a little bit of a yarn to Cam.
You didn't see it, but
over lunch.
There's a black bit of paint on that grass exactly under where that ball was.
Some people call that the try line. Yes, it's I'm not sure if Cam was actually born in Canterbury men, so, but we'll have a chat about that in saying that. We play on, and that's what happens. That's the beauty of this game. We just keep going, attacking the short side there. And often that's what happens, you know, you don't get one down the other end, and all of a sudden it just goes bang, the old 2-point swing around.
Yeah, a bit of a leveller there, I think, as we see Morrison on the ball, and just equal to what Murray McGregor did down the other end. Just some lovely bit of footwork, and dancing around the defenders on both ends, and this is making for an exciting last 2 minutes, Maya.
I think ironically the try before that Auckland one by North Harbour was by number 9 Isaac Mauri McGregor, and he was the young man that was doing the slam dunks. And that occasion he went under and slid the ball through and got the touchdown. So it's great to see that he's made that little adjustment, and then I hope he sees the better accuracy. Tit for tat, here we go, 3 in a row.
Yeah, second phase play, and as I mentioned earlier in this half, Harbour had gone away from that, and we're looking for the one-off plays. Now they actually went into the second phase, created a bit of a mad scramble for the defence across the line, and the winger just had to make a call, and beautiful pass to the winger, and quite an easy finish at the end to take a lead of 7-6 with a minute and a half to go. This could possibly be Auckland's last crack to tie this one up.
Yeah, one of those underrated plays, I think, when it comes to touch footy is the second phase play, and you'll know, Reece, from some of the success that we had in the Canterbury men's, that, you know, it was something that we kind of got installed into us, that to always stay prepared to get that ball down, and we had a lot of opportunity, or a lot of tries scored through that. So something that I think's gone missing for a while, but with the 7 metre kind of opening the game up a little bit, it's something that we might see a little bit more of in time to come. Yeah,
100%, and obviously Auckland, they couldn't quite get the job done there, and Harbour just taking their time, getting the ball down. This will be a very lackadaisical set, I would imagine, just to get it down the other end of the field with a matter of seconds to go.
Yeah, this set decides the game, depending on where North Harbour score, or leave it so that they can defend it. Just draw and pass back inside. Number 9 again. Murray McGregor got the all clear from the sideline. 8-6. Unfortunately for Auckland, I think that's game over.
And it must be exciting for these players. These are the moments that you want to be in, you know, trying to make sure that you can steer clear with that lead. And he went low before, and this time he knows that that defender's coming, and he's looked to roll his body over the top. And Murray McGregor, he's able to get this crucial 2-touchdown league as we fall into the last 10 seconds of this fixture.
Yeah, Maya, we talked about the slam dunk and how it's probably not the greatest thing for our game. Also, the backward attempt at a back flick spiral to halfway. I know it's a passionate game. Here's a little bit of a ding-dong. Not needed in our game, especially in a beautifully played. And there's been no real issues with the behaviour in this game. And I wouldn't want to have a scuffle with this refereeing lineup as well, because they'll shut it down pretty quickly. But just back to the game. Beautiful win by Harbour in the second live stream of the day.
There we have it, whānau, 8-6 to North Harbour for the second game of the day. We'll see you shortly.
This Touch New Zealand event is proudly supported by Bunnings Warehouse.